With the recent release of Jedi Fallen Order, we got a ton of backstory on the second sister Inquisitor, as well as learning more about the Inquisitors in general, and today we'll be talking about every single Inquisitor that we currently know about in Star Wars canon. With that said, there will be spoilers in this video for the Darth Vader comic, Jedi Fallen Order, and Star Wars Rebels, so if you do not wish to be spoiled for any of these, please click off the video now. But if you want to know all about the canon Inquisitors, every single one we currently know about that is, then stay tuned. First, we'll start off by talking about some of the far more obscure Inquisitors, including several that have no names in the Star Wars canon. This first Inquisitor that we'll be talking about has no official name. All we know her as is Jer Sara's master. The story of this Inquisitor is an interesting one, as apparently this female Inquisitor ventured to Dathomir shortly after the events of the Jedi Purge, indicating to us that this female Inquisitor turned to the dark side of the Force before Order 66 was enacted. This Inquisitor, while on Dathomir, encountered a Night Sister that was extremely powerful in the Force, and against the orders of Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine desired to train this Night Sister in the ways of the Force to one day use against the other Inquisitors. This Night Sister's name was Jer Sara, but unfortunately Jer Sara would grow far more powerful than this female Inquisitor once she was removed from the planet, and would eventually kill this female Inquisitor, taking her lightsaber for her own, and becoming a mercenary in the Galactic Empire. All we know about this female Inquisitor is that she was in fact killed by Jer Sara, and this is the end of her. This female Inquisitor was first and only mentioned in the Ghosts of Dathomir. The next Inquisitor that we'll be talking about appeared in the Darth Vader series, and is also unnamed. This black Twi'lek Inquisitor had a part in hunting down the Jedi Master Eth Koth, but eventually, with the help of another red female Inquisitor, they fell out of favor with Darth Vader, and resolved to kill their master if they were ever able to escape the clutches of the Empire. As a result of this, a chase involving Vader and the two Inquisitors ensued, with the two Inquisitors coming nearly close to stopping Darth Vader. However, once this black Twi'lek Inquisitor and this red Inquisitor approached Darth Vader, Vader used the Force to control their very bodies, forcing them to point lightsabers at one another, and then activating them, killing them both. Both Inquisitors, though, moments before their death, expressed relief, as at least in death they would finally be free from the clutches of the Empire and their master Vader. The next Inquisitor is the 10th brother, this Inquisitor being rare because he was actually a Jedi Master when he turned to the dark side of the Force, not simply a Jedi Knight or a Jedi Padawan like most Inquisitors were. The 10th brother was also an Inquisitor that turned to the dark side of the Force before the reign of the Empire and before the reign of Palpatine. The 10th brother had grown disillusioned with the Jedi Order during the first few years of the Clone Wars conflict, completely disagreeing with the conflict as a whole, and as a result of this actually attacked Mace Windu, but was defeated in single combat. The 10th brother, though, would eventually be spared during Order 66, as Emperor Palpatine had sensed that he had turned to the dark side of the Force years before the Jedi Purge, and that he would make for a fine Inquisitor, himself being a former Jedi Master. The 10th brother was eventually executed by Purge troopers, after a surviving member of Order 66 mind-tricked them into attacking the Inquisitors, tricking the Purge troopers into thinking that Order 66 was reoccurring again, and that the Inquisitors were Jedi. Next we have the Ninth Sister, one of the main antagonists in Jedi Fallen Order. The Ninth Sister is believed to be one of the most powerful Inquisitors, actually surviving the attack from the Purge troopers. The Ninth Sister was also turned to the dark side of the Force after the events of Order 66, and had undergone intense torture at the hand of Darth Vader to eventually embrace the dark side. However, Vader himself would describe the Ninth Sister as clumsy, although of course being among some of the most powerful of the Inquisitors. The Ninth Sister, as I said, is also one of the few Inquisitors still currently alive in Star Wars canon. Next, we have the 8th brother Inquisitor, or the Inquisitor that was directly sent after Maul after the events of Order 66, although the 8th brother would never find him. The 8th brother would eventually be killed by Maul on the planet of Malachor 5, and was believed to have been a Jedi Knight prior to the events of Order 66, who too had undergone torture at the hands of the Empire. The 8th brother is one of the Inquisitors that we admittedly know the least about. All we know is that he died at the events of Star Wars Rebels after his lightsaber was damaged by Maul, causing him to attempt to use the lightsaber to fly, but the lightsaber failing in mid-air, of course resulting in him falling to his death. Next up, we have one of the main antagonists in Season 2 of Star Wars Rebels, the 7th Sister, who had a key role in the conflict against the rebels Kanan Jarrus as well as Ezra Bridger, one Jedi Knight and one potential Jedi Knight, with the 7th Sister forming a unique rivalry with Ezra. The 7th Sister was one of the weaker weaker Inquisitors, with it being speculated that she was a Jedi Padawan when she fell to the dark side of the Force after Order 66. The seventh sister too would be killed on the planet of Malachor at the hands of Maul, and was bested several times during her pursuit of Jedi after Order 66, including by the likes of Jedi such as Canon, Ezra, as well as the famed Ahsoka Tano. Next up, we have the sixth brother, one of the more powerful members of the Inquisitorius. The sixth brother was one of the few Inquisitors that was brave enough to spar with Darth Vader during training, although it resulted in the loss of his arm. The sixth brother also survived the attack on the Purge Troopers on behalf of the Jedi Order 66 survivor, and for many years had a successful career in hunting down Jedi, until he came across former Jedi Ahsoka Tano, who, without the use of a lightsaber, was able to turn the sixth brother's lightsaber and lightsaber crystals against himself, resulting in an explosion that would cause the sixth brother's death. As I said though, the sixth brother was denoted as being one of the most powerful Inquisitors, believing that one day he could even become a rival for Darth Vader, and maybe even achieve the rank of Grand Inquisitor. However, it was his overconfidence that proved to be his weakness, as Ahsoka exploited this and ultimately killed him. Next up, we have the other secondary antagonist of Star Wars Rebels Season 2, the fifth brother, an Inquisitor around the same level as the seventh sister, which is why they were both sent after Canon and Ezra and the newly formed Rebel Alliance. The fifth brother was nothing special in either lightsaber combat or of his use of the Force, and was considered inferior to the likes of Jedi Knight Kanan and Jarrus, although they were quite equal at some points during their engagements. The fifth brother would ultimately meet the same fate as the seventh sister, being killed by Maul on Malachor 5, as Maul would become quite famous among the Inquisitors as an Inquisitor killer, with it being known that after the events of Order 66, Maul killed at least 4 Inquisitors personally. Next, we have the fourth sister, who is a unique Inquisitor as she used a different lightsaber than the others, using a lightsaber pipe. Not much at all is known about the fourth sister, as she's only ever appeared in one comic, that being Return to Vader's Castle, issue number 5. The fourth sister was considered one of the weakest Inquisitors, as she was actually captured by the Rebel Alliance, who managed to steal her armor and impersonate her. Her ultimate fate is unknown. Next, we have the main antagonist of Jedi Fallen Order, the second sister, also known as Trilla, a Jedi Padawan who was turned to the dark side of the Force after she survived the initial stages of Order 66, and was one of the most powerful Inquisitors among the ranks, being considered quite potentially the second most powerful out of all of the Inquisitors behind the Grand Inquisitor himself. Trilla's backstory is quite tragic, as her Jedi Master left her alone to defend a group of Jedi Padawans. However, the Empire would eventually capture her and torture her for some time, an event that would turn her to the dark side of the Force. At the end of her life though, Trilla would ultimately embrace the light side one more time, after reconnecting with her master. In the end though, she was slaughtered by Darth Vader, who sensed her turn and no longer needed her. And finally, we have the Grand Inquisitor, an Inquisitor that is believed to have turned to the dark side of the Force before Order 66, and a former Jedi Temple Guard. It was revealed that the Grand Inquisitor turned to the dark side of the Force because the Jedi Jocasta Nu forbade him knowledge within the Jedi library, deeming him unworthy, an event that would greatly infuriate the Grand Inquisitor. The Grand Inquisitor was the most successful Jedi hunter out of all of the Inquisitors, and was again by far the most powerful and skilled, having hunted down potentially dozens of Jedi following the Purge. He was also familiar with all 7 forms of lightsaber combat, and on several occasions put both Ezra Bridger as well as Kanan Jarrus on the backpedal. He was only ever defeated once Kanan balanced himself in the Force, with the Jedi Knight ultimately defeating the Grand Inquisitor in single combat, after he believed his apprentice Ezra Bridger had been killed. But that was every single Inquisitor that we know about in Star Wars canon. Of course, it's likely that more Inquisitors could one day be added to this list. As I said, some of my favorite Inquisitors are the second sister, the Grand Inquisitor, and the sixth brother, as I consider them the top tier level Inquisitors. But now that you as well know about all the Inquisitors that we have information on so far in Star Wars canon, I want to know which Inquisitor is your favorite, and out of all of them, who do you believe to be among the most powerful? If you enjoyed this video, it would help me out immensely if you could leave a like, but if not, thank you simply for watching. May the Force be with you, and have a great day.